I'm Carrie.
I'm Toni, and we are.
Two Cranky Creatives.
Thank you for listening. And remember, if you're impatient, allergic to ads, or just want to support our cranky little corner of the podcast world, join the Cranky Club. Subscribers get ad-free episodes and early access. Yep, a whole week early. Hit subscribe and join the club.
And we're recording now. Yay! How are you
Carrie,
doing?
yes. I'm doing all right. It's like I'm in my new little studio, and hopefully you can't hear the air because I couldn't figure out how to close the vent. But so
I cannot hear it.
good. But I have an update for you, Carrie.
Okay.
My now year-long saga with the publisher in the UK. So finally, they sent me a letter confirming they were reverting my rights back to me. I got my rights back.
My God. Oh my God. It's been over a year, right?
It's been over a year.
Yay!
Yes. I was
Thank
so
God.
happy.
Yes. Oh my God.
So my rights are now all mine again.
Oh, that's amazing. And so now, what are you gonna, you completely cut ties with them, right? Do they owe you money or anything?
I don't know. They have to give me an accounting, and I think they have 9 months to sell off their inventory. So, so any inventory they've got 9 months to sell off, which is fine. And so next up, though, is getting my rights back from the North American publisher. I had to get my rights back from the UK before I could reclaim my rights from the North American publisher. So
wow.
That is next up on the saga. But I mean, it's just been so much frustration. So yes, I finally have
Yay!
The worldwide rights back to my novels. So
that is so awesome. I'm so relieved for you. That sounds like it was kind of a nightmare. And that was how many email? I don't even want to ask how many times you had to contact them about that.
I mean, I just had you know how you can snooze an email. So I just kind of had it on rotation. And every time it came back, it was like, hi, I haven't heard from you. Hi, can you please confirm?
Yeah. Oh my God. So. Well, you did not have to get an attorney involved though. So that's good, right? So
I did not, but I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Chuck Cordes from ABA because he and I chatted during one of their office hours, and his advice gave me a strategy, and I just worked with that strategy, and he really helped. Even though he's not my attorney, he offers some great he weighs in with his legal expertise. I won't say he gives legal advice because he doesn't, but he weighs in with his legal expertise to help educate you inside of the ABA. Awesome. And so he absolutely helped me with what I needed. So
awesome. Art ABA meaning Art Brand Alliance for those who do not know. But yeah, no, that is really awesome. Yeah, he is really generous with that. And sometimes you just need an opinion. It doesn't have to be real legal advice, but it's looking at it from a different perspective. So yeah, I'm really glad that worked. Exactly. And you didn't have to pay an attorney.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
What about you? What's new with you?
So I recently was able to exhibit some of my paintings. So I had I don't normally do abstract art. But in 2020, during lockdown, I had bought a bunch of art supplies that were sitting in the house, and I was sitting in the house and I was not going anywhere. And I was feeling the same thing that I'm sure everyone on the planet was feeling: confused, scared, worried, defeated, all those things. And I grabbed some canvases and some paint and just kind of went to town and ended up with all these very frenetic abstract paintings. Mm-hmm. And I ended up having a small, very, very small gallery show when things, I guess it was when things started opening back up, or no, actually it might have been earlier than that, but things were kind of opening up, not quite. And then anyway, so I ended up with all these paintings, and I sold more than half of them. But I had half of them sitting in the house. And anyway, long story short, a local coffee shop here in Atlanta called San Francisco Coffee. It's a long story, but anyway, I ended up pitching them. I was like, hey, I go there all the time. I love your coffee. I noticed that you have local art paintings by local artists. what would be my chances of hanging my art? And then they were like, can we see pictures? And they said yes. So this past weekend, I went and hung, I think it's like 11 paintings. So it's not that many, but some of them are big. They're like 16 by 20 inches, not feet.
Nice.
It's not that big of a coffee shop. But the owner, who was super nice, Leo, asked if he could do a video interview with me for social media. And the funny thing is, and Toni, I called you to tell you this. I basically was like, he's like, tell me about, the motivation behind your art and what made you create the series. And I did a little story about, the pandemic and stuff. But then I'm like, by the way, yeah, so I also have a podcast. And I basically used it as an opportunity to like talk about the podcast and why we have the podcast and why it's important to us to like build community in the in the art world. So I'm hoping that's going to be out on social media soon, but I was like, oh, somebody gave me a microphone and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to promote this podcast.
Be sure to send it my way when it comes out. We'll reshare it on the Two Cranky Creative socials.
Yeah, absolutely. I will. Let's hope it turns out okay. And I'm not stumbling over my words, but I think I did all right. We'll see.
I'm sure you did just fine.
Yeah. Cool. So,
all right. Well, cranky. Well, I don't even know what I'm saying, but what are we cranky about today, Carrie?
Toni, today we are cranky about the fact that it might be true that print on demand is dead. It might be. It might not be.
It might be. At a minimum, I think there's definite issues rocking the POD world at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's on some shaky ground. I think it's been shaky for a long time from a business standpoint,
yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Most of these companies are openly, what am I trying to say? They're like on the open market, publicly traded. That's what I'm trying to say. And so they're beholden to shareholders and venture capitalists. And the moment that happens, their responsibility is to their shareholder, not their artists.
Right. Yeah. Their main concern becomes the bottom line and whatever their shareholders' concern is, which is usually the bottom line, because all the shareholders care about is returns on their investment.
Right. They want your stock price to go up.
Yeah. But, the irony is print on demand sites would not be anything. They would have blank products if it weren't for the artists. And Toni, I don't know about you. So I've been using I think I started with Redbubble in 2016. Mm-hmm. So that was 10 years ago. And then I got into Spoonflower a few years after that, which I do feel like Spoonflower is kind of an exception to the rule. But although they are changing their business model a little bit as well, or their barrier to entry. But, when I first started on Redbubble, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I didn't even know it existed. The hilarious part is, how I found out about Redbubble?
How?
So I used to work in the film industry. There I go again. But I was trying to come up with I was working on my online portfolio and I needed, I had seen that there was an article online about this fake soda brand that I created for Halt and Catch Fire. And I was like, where was that? I can't remember. So I started Googling myself and then I started Googling graphic designer, film industry, whatever, trying to find that article. And I ran into a product for sale that was one of my designs that I don't own the rights to either, for Halt and Catch Fire. That was like a logo for a fake computer company that I had made, the Cardiff Giant. And I was like, what is this? This is on a t-shirt? And I was so confused. And, I knew what Zazzle was. Zazzle's been around for a long time. 20 years or something. Yeah. But I didn't get what Redbubble was. And then I realized somebody had recreated and basically stolen the logo that I had created and put it on there for sale. And I'm like, oh, so this is like a site where people put up art and then, okay. And I kind of figured it out. And then I promptly reported them to AMC because I don't have the rights to do that either. I've never
Right.
done that. I wouldn't put that up there because it's a work for hire project. But that's how I found out about it. But anyway, when I started on Redbubble, I started kind of gaining momentum, and I was making like pretty decent money on there for the amount of effort I was putting in. It's like, let me put up a graphic, place it on stuff, hit submit, add some tags and a title. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm making money on this.
Yeah.
And the more I made, the more I was like, well, I need to put some more stuff on here then.
Right.
And so I kind of gained some momentum, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I don't have to do anything. And everything was kind of amazing until probably about, I'd say 5 years ago, probably around 2021. I'd say 2021, because during 2020, I did okay too. And then all of a sudden, all my sales dropped off. And then I found out that was around when they got bought by, I guess, a venture capital firm.
Yeah.
And now I'm lucky to make $50 a month. But there was a time there during the holiday season where I was making hundreds of dollars, if not closer to 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And those days, I feel like, sadly, might be over, at least on that platform.
I have a somewhat similar POD story, not so much finding that someone stole my art and was selling it on Redbubble, but I am a geek in many, many ways. And I have been following this comic called ElfQuest since I was 7 years old. To the point where I am an extra in their audio movie. So, yes, if you listen to the audio movie of ElfQuest, I am howling right along with other people. Yes, because they're like Wolf Rider elves, and I know it just sounds so stupid, but I have to say, Wendy Pini, who writes it, is a pioneer for female comic artists, and she's like in the Hall of Fame and all kinds of stuff, and it's an amazing thing. And yes, I've been following it for over 40 years, and they launched a Redbubble store. So. And this was right around the same time that I was getting into illustrating, because I created a line of cards for trauma healing. I was running a nonprofit here locally in Wichita for long-term survivors of violence. And one of the things that was coming up in the groups we were running was like, I can't, my friend was sexually assaulted. There's no card that I can give her for that, you know? And so I created this line of cards, and it would be things like, I'm so sorry that happened to you, right? Like, that's it. I'm just so sorry that happened to you, inside blank. One of them was healing trauma is hard, and I'm so proud of the work you're doing, right? Like, so it was like 7 cards all in that theme. And I was like, well, Hallmark doesn't want these cards. So
even though they should have them I feel like that's you found a really good market gap, but anyway.
Right. And so, and right at the time, coincides with me discovering that ElfQuest had a Redbubble store. And then I realized I could put my own shit out. And I was like, oh, well, let me do that. And so I put all of these cards on Redbubble, and they took off. Right.
Oh my God. Awesome.
2019-ish. Right.
Yeah.
To this day, I've never sold more cards than those.
Yeah.
But then same thing. I did really well for maybe a year, because this was about 2019, and then the venture capitalists bought them, and it was done. And honestly, it tanked. I think over I came off Redbubble 2 years ago. So 2024, because I was like, it's just not worth my time anymore. I think after that first year, collectively, I think I made $50.
Yeah.
In the next 3 years. And I was like, forget this. I'm like, I'm not putting the time and effort into this. So And I think, so I'm trying to remember all the ones. I did Society 6 for a little while, same thing. And I'm trying to think of all the other ones those are really the 2 big ones. I am on Fine Art America right now, but not for those cards. Like, those cards I've taken off the market. I don't sell them anymore, but
you should, though.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I might. I don't know.
I think
should.
I see an Etsy niche store for
Mhm.
you that is just focused on that and doing print on demand with like Printify. I
Yeah.
really do think, I mean, that's no one has anything like that. And oh my God, look at the world we live in right now.
I know.
And look at the fact that they just released the Epstein files. I mean, the Me Too movement, like that, this is the time for that kind of thing. And it's, I'm sure, very empowering. And, you know, I have a little cat butt one that I made that just says, put it behind you. I sell the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
And I always kind of tout it as like, it's good for like divorce and breakups, but it could be for anything.
Yeah, no, very true. Yeah. I
Yeah.
also had a line of conversation starter cards.
Oh.
And so, and there are 24 of them. I can't remember all of them right now, but they were things like, Mom, it's complicated, but. And so it was like, finish the sentence. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, and I had like, there were 24 of them, and I would sell them as a set, and I would sell them individually, and they did really well too. Same concept though. It was like, okay, I can't sell them. Like I can't get somebody to buy them, and I just don't have time to figure out, you know, what is happening here. And, you know, my thing, and I hear your point about starting it on Etsy, but it's like with everything else, there's that learning curve and figuring out how to be good at it and how to do it. And right now, I don't have the time to devote to that, but I'm not saying that I never would.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm thinking in the back of my head about how those need to be out there just for people. And that's a good way for you to have more. Well, we'll get into Etsy later in this episode, but yeah. So I feel like when we both were doing really well, Redbubble, I think, is a really, really good example. They're kind of like the litmus test. Zazzle, I feel like, is kind of an outlier. So Zazzle has literally been around since the late 90s, I'm sure, if not earlier, because I remember buying a t-shirt on Zazzle for someone that I worked with when I worked at Bell South in 99. So
oh my God, I haven't heard Bell South in forever.
Yeah, I worked there for 6 years before they were AT&T. That was my first like quote unquote real job. It was a great place, but anyway, they paid for my graphic design degree, which is really amazing. But yeah. Oh, and side note, they also had an MBA program that I almost did, and I guess according to you, I shouldn't have not have that.
But an MBA will do no one any good if your field is illustration.
Well, I don't know. You seem to have a lot of insight, but the thing is, so it seems like Redbubble is a good example, and there was a heyday of print on demand. So anybody listening, you know, there's Redbubble, there's TeePublic, there's Threadless, there's Society6, there's Contrato, you know, all of the sites where basically you upload your art and then the art lives on their site, on their products. Right. And then you typically make, you know, lower royalties. Society6 is another one. But you don't have to do anything. So it's not like, you know, a drop shipping thing. It's more, you know, it's a lot more passive. For a little while there was a heyday where were not that many artists on there. And the few artists that were on there that were decent, you know, and I'm including us in that, did okay. I mean, I wouldn't say it would pay, you know, it was not my year's salary, but it was a decent amount of money. It was way more than I was getting more than what I was putting into it, you know, in terms of the upfront effort. I create the art, and then it would take me like 5-10 minutes to put it on the products and then hit submit, and then I'm literally done. Yeah. Sometimes you can update your tags and things like that. But you know, the reason that I kind of am worried that a lot of the print on demand platforms, if not print on demand as an industry, is kind of dead or dying, kind of like malls in America, is it's getting saturated, not with artists, but with AI.
Yes, it is. And and then the back end, I think, inspires that. And I'm going to elaborate that on us in a second, but they're encouraging AI, which is part of the problem. So like, for instance, I'm not on Redbubble anymore, so I can't speak to this, but I know Contrato is like gives you an AI mechanism so that you, the customer, can go use AI inside of their ecosystem to create a product. So we have less skilled individuals using AI to create art that they are now putting up as an artist to gain royalties on that. And then they are encouraging users to use AI. But and again, this goes back to the venture capital piece. Now, do I have like evidence to back up what I'm going to say? No, but I can tell you from an economic standpoint why I believe this is happening. So, and this goes to why I hate, like, I resented my MBA before I even got it. But I had to take an economics class, and I've told this story on here before. I had to take an economics class, and I got a C on this paper that I turned in, and mainly because I expressed my opinion about the facts, and the facts were that when layoffs occur, stock prices go up. Okay. Yeah. And so the thing that people have to understand is that the concept, the driving mechanism of capitalism is profit. Mm-hmm. And so profit is your revenue minus your expenses. And the single largest expense for any company is labor.
Yeah.
Well, what does labor equal for print on demand? It means artist commissions. Mm-hmm. So that is why, so when you reduce labor, stock prices go up. And when you have a publicly traded company, it's called fiduciary responsibility. Their fiduciary responsibility is to the shareholder, not the artist. Mm-hmm. So how are they going to reduce their expenses to increase their profit? They're going to short labor. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
So that's why you're seeing royalties go down, and that's why you're seeing the advance of AI, because it allows them to continue to sell profits at lower costs to the company, which drives up profit, which raises stock prices. And so that's why I think we're seeing the shift, which of the ecosystem of print on demand, Fine Art America, and by default Pixels, are kind of like a unicorn. And by that, what I mean is they're not owned by a venture capitalist. They're a privately held firm. Now, does it change what it takes to succeed? No, because I'm going to tell you honestly, I'm not making a killing over there. I'm really not. I mean, and it's weird because like I'll have months where I have hundreds of people visiting my stuff.
Oh, yeah. Do you get the weekly email from them?
I do. I get the weekly, I get the weekly email. And but last month I had less than 100, and it's just this weird, like I can't figure out like what the algorithm's doing or anything like that, and but it is what it is. It's like whatever. But like again, I mean, my personal design life is shifting. I'm moving into handmade books. I'm not putting a lot of stuff up on POD. And I think one of the things we need to talk about, and I want to shout out Shannon McNabb, who's we are recording this in March. This episode is probably going to come out in September.
We front load. That's okay.
We front load heavily. But Shannon McNabb released a newsletter today. And one of the things she talked about was print on demand. Mm-hmm. And so why do people even do it? You have a low barrier to entry, right? Mm-hmm. It's very easy. You sign up for free. Well, I want to say that easy part is changing. It used to be very easy no matter what, but a lot of sites are going to this model of you must apply.
Yeah, it did not used to be like that. Anybody could get on there.
Anybody could get on. All you had to do was obey the file size requirements and resolution, and you could print your stuff. And your revenue was as good as your ability to tag and learn how people searched the site. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And as long as your stuff was discoverable, you could get sales. Right. Mm-hmm. If you were really smart, you started looking at what sold well on different sites. And I think Kat Cocolette has talked at that point, like she uses Redbubble for stickers and Society6 for other products. So if you're really good at understanding that, you can not game the system, but you know what I'm trying to say, like work the platforms that way.
Mhm.
But the models are changing. We're moving to applications. And I think and I think this gets lost as a general rule inside of our industry, is we don't factor in time into our costs,
Yep.
right? Like if
Mhm.
you were being paid to do this job, what salary would you, be choosing for yourself? Like when we broke down the industry survey results, like coming out and going, wow, you're like, we're barely making minimum wage if you do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, people aren't thinking, okay, I made, let's say $15,000 last year on Redbubble. Well, okay, take that $15,000 divided by 52 weeks and then divided by 40 hours in that week. And what are you actually making?
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
worth your time?
Mhm.
And I don't think that is a calculation that people are making, because if you're putting up hundreds of products and you're
Which you
coming,
really have to do in a lot of these platforms too.
yes,
Yeah.
and the more you upload, the more discoverable you are, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like it's like a snake eating its tail in a lot of ways, because you have to keep feeding the beast. But if you're not making sales, honestly, you are just, my father had this thing. My father was like he was really, really tight with money. And uh, his thing was, if we left the refrigerator open, like if we would stand there looking in the refrigerator, you might
Yeah.
as well throw $2 bills out the window. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're just wasting energy. You might as well go throw money out the window, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of the same thing. You might as well go throw money out the window, right? Because if you're spending all this time feeding the mechanism and you're getting nothing for it, you're just giving money away, truthfully. Because that time
Yeah.
could be earning you money somewhere else.
Yeah, and you won't get that time back. That's the
Nope.
thing. It's like, and there's no, so that's what I was going to add. So with print on demand, it's a numbers game. So it's very rare when you upload 5 things and all 5 of those things are big hits and make you a lot of sales.
Mhm.
Typically, for every 100 designs that you upload, you're going to have probably 10 of them
Mhm.
that make sales at all, and I'd
Mhm.
say 5 of them that make recurring sales. And that is
Mhm.
coming from someone who has had hundreds of designs on multiple print on demand sites. I'm over maybe 2,000 on Spoonflower now.
Mhm.
um, I have designs on lots and lots of print on demand sites that I've been on for years that have never sold one product. Yet I spent the however long it took to upload that design, add tags, add a title, lay it out the way I thought it would be good, scale wise and placement wise on a product. Also, maybe the way I thought it would be, best laid out isn't what the customers want. I don't know, because a
Mhm.
lot of that is a guessing game. It's subjective. And then, I don't make any sales. So all of the pieces that you upload, you can't say, okay, I made $15,000 on Redbubble, and you uploaded, but how many designs did you upload times how long did that take you? Times how
Exactly.
long did it take you to create the designs? Um,
Exactly.
and the thing that really gets me is Redbubble is, I feel like and that's why they keep coming up in my mind as is print on demand dead. They're kind of a egregious offender in a lot of ways. And I guess if they hear this and they close my account, I don't even know if I care. I mean, I probably would care because I still have designs on there and I'm not going to take them down because that means all that effort was wasted. But unfortunately, in early 2026, Redbubble said, "Hey guys, by the way, you know how we were giving you however much for your royalties? Well, now we're going to be keeping half of that. We're
Right.
literally only going to be giving you 50% of what we gave you before." And that is taking into account that the whole business model is you get a small percentage of royalties on the sale.
Right.
And they also charge fees on top of that,
Right.
which is like, it's insane. So for the amount of work you put in, you're making probably less than 10 cents an hour. By
Right.
the time they take all the fees and take their cut, and also you have to hope that, you know, like your design even sells. So print on demand had a real heyday and it was amazing. And I looked at it and I thought, this is too good to be true. And it was. And it didn't last. And I think it's a combination of things, but the advent of AI doesn't help. So I will have a shout out here for Spoonflower. So Spoonflower is changing their business model a bit as well. And they are going to be having an application process just like Society6, which, in case people don't know, Society6 kicked off a huge amount of artists. And then they're supposed to have an application process to get back on the platform. But there's also the fact that however many hours you spent uploading however many designs, they just get taken down. They're just gone because the company went out of business or they changed their business model and they just get rid of all your stuff. So that means all that time you put in is gone and all your art is off their site. But Spoonflower is doing like an application process, but Spoonflower is still, I feel like, if you have a decent amount of designs on there, it's still a good place to sell stuff. And I don't know if I don't think they're owned by a venture capital firm. I've had really good experience with them. But they're changing as well. So I just don't know. I don't know what to expect. I mean, here's the deal. Print on demand has always been like the Wild West. But now it really is the Wild West. And this was my main shout out to Spoonflower. I forgot what I was going to say. I just remembered. So Spoonflower with AI, they don't encourage AI at all. And they don't prevent AI, but they do not allow AI in their design challenges. And unfortunately, I feel like, of course, everyone's like, well, why doesn't Spoonflower just say that there's no AI allowed on the site? Because I don't think they have the manpower, the human power to do that. Because they would have to have a human, I believe, analyze the images and you'd have to get them approved. And I just don't think they have that kind of staff, that volume of people that can do that. Or even, I don't know, maybe there's a way that robot, but do you want AI to judge AI? I mean, what's that going to be? Yeah. But at least Spoonflower has the integrity to say you cannot enter AI designs in their design challenges. So that's something. Yeah. But, I really worry about the print on demand industry and I never thought of it as my meal ticket. But now, Shannon's email that came out recently was like, look, guys, how much time are you putting into this? None of us are hardly making any money on it. It's not really worth doing. And I'm kind of the same mind. It's like, except for a couple platforms, I'm not going to take my art down, but I'm just like, why am I going to spend more time on this when, okay, I might make $50 in my lifetime on that. Maybe.
Right. It's
well, is that worth it?
Yeah. Exactly. And I did look up while you were chatting, Carrie, and Spoonflower is not publicly traded. It is part of Shutterfly, which is a subsidiary of a private equity firm called Apollo Global Management. And it functions as a private subsidiary. So it is not publicly traded, which is good to know. This is important information.
Thanks for looking that up. I never even thought to do that. And I knew they were owned by Shutterfly, but I don't know. I don't see. There's that MBA again. Because you understand terms like that too. Like I don't quite wrap my head around those kinds of things. So yeah,
I should probably stop shitting all over my MBA. But
they're going to revoke it if you're not careful.
To my knowledge, they can't do that. Here's why I get so down on it, though. It's probably because I was working in anti-terrorism when I got it. And the reason I got it was so that they would fucking take me seriously. Right?
Yeah.
Because I have always worked in male-dominated industry. I've been in tech since 1996. And then I got into tech management in 2004-ish. And so, I'm this little 5'2" female working with all of these men. And, My counterparts didn't need fucking alphabets behind their names, but I did. You know what I'm saying? And so I got this MBA in order to be taken seriously and to get paid more. And yeah, I did get paid more, but I never got paid the same as they did. And 9 times out of 10, I was fucking better than they were too. And so, yeah, so I bear some resentment for the fact that I racked up thousands of dollars in student debts for those purposes. You know what I'm saying? But anywho.
You live and learn.
You live and learn. But so to my knowledge, that means, and I haven't looked up every single one of it, and I'm not going to, but Shutterfly is not publicly traded. Fine Art America, not publicly traded. But who are the ones that we're saying are treating their artists better? The ones that are privately owned.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because where is the imperative there? Their bottom line. So it really just comes down to how much do they value the artist if you're looking at those two platforms, right? Versus, and I know we're kind of picking on Redbubble, but I think Redbubble, like one of the reasons that I personally, the final straw for me with Redbubble was I did a series of travel posters and they fucking kept telling me I was copyright infringing. And I was like having to prove that it was my art. Finally, I was like, fuck this, I'm done. It is not worth the time and effort for so little return, you know? And
they do that a lot. They've done that to me too with my own art. And yet my art has been stolen and is on their site, and their site, Redbubble, is full of copyright infringements that they don't take down. And then if you turn around and say to them, like because I've appealed and say, look, mine is my art. Here's the proof. Here's my, wireframe or whatever. By the way, why do you have this one up then? And they don't care. They just don't care.
Exactly. And so I think though, the thing that, I think that it is absolutely changing. I feel like it is degrading. And so the experience is worsening, the money you can make off of it is worsening. And there will always be unicorns. There's always going to be somebody out there who is making a killing. Fine.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, and good for them.
Yeah, 100%. I'm happy for you. But as a general rule, it always comes down to cost benefit analysis. What is it costing you to do that? And please, 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 please incorporate your time into that equation. And what are you getting out of it? And I think I think too many artists operate out of doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word fear. I have a big problem with us using fear language when it's really about doubt, where it's this concept of, well, I don't know if I'm going to get licensed. I don't know this. I want to make money. I want to see my art out there. And if I don't do it this way, then I'm not going to get anything, And so I think that a lot of people are just kind of like throwing their stuff on POD because they want to make some money, any money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was the same way. I was 100% the same way. I think I've just gotten to a point in my specific artistic career that I'm more interested in quality than I am about, okay, I can make a couple bucks off of this. So
right.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. And that's exactly, it's like print on demand in general is quantity over quality, typically.
Correct. Yeah.
Because, it's just, you have to throw a bunch of stuff up there because you just don't know what's going to sell. And I have to throw this complaint in there too, this cranky complaint. So one of the things that I keep noticing is a lot of these print on demand sites, Redbubble especially, I get their email newsletter because I still am on there. And they're like, here's some great ways to promote your Redbubble shop this week or this month. Here's some events, here's some American holidays that are coming up. And here's the thing, the whole point of you putting your art on their site is organic search. It's that someone is already on their site and they search for, mushroom with a smiley face or whatever they search for. And they find your art that way.
Right.
because that's the whole point of putting it there. Otherwise, why would you even put it on their site? Why wouldn't you have it on someone else's site or your own? And
Exactly.
then it's kind of goes back to our cranky and legally obligated to do marketing. Of course, you're not legally obligated to do it. But oh my God, if I see one more fucking company that
Right.
comes to me as an artist who is giving value, I'm the content creator. I
Yeah.
am the value. My content is, your site would be nothing without my and other contributors' content.
Right.
And then you ask me to go advertise your company for you? I'm like,
Right.
no, hell no, I'm not.
Exactly.
I want
I
people
agree
to
with you.
find my art on your site. If they don't, I have, limited resources. I'm a one-person firm. I'm not going to sit there and, oh, hey, everybody, go to this site that I have nothing to do with and give me 18 cents for my art. But you might also
Exactly.
find other people's art too. Like, why would I do that?
Right. And how are they helping you? Like, and this is one thing I will say
They're
why.
not.
Exactly. But this is the one reason why when I said, okay, I'm going to do one POD, and it was Fine Art America. And,
Mhm.
I'm not doing a lot of pattern design right now, so I'm not really uploading a lot of stuff to it, but why I stick with them. And as long as they'll keep me on their site, I will be there. And it's a couple reasons. One, getting your stuff on their site is super fucking easy. It's so easy to get your pieces up on their site. But also they give you mechanisms. So like their premium membership is like $30 for a year. It's super cheap.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very
And if you
affordable.
do that, you get your own website, right? So you
Mhm.
have your own marketplace website, like a Shopify, but through Fine Art America for the products that they produce. They also give you tools to create social media assets of your stuff right away. I don't know that these specific things are premium only, but like,
I think they are, because I have a free
okay.
account and
Uh-huh.
I've never gotten that stuff. So yeah.
Okay. You also can create catalog sheets, sales sheets of
Oh,
your products,
nice.
right? So like if you want to do wholesale, you could, but they also have a licensing option, right? So like, and they're connected into like ABC and a bunch of TV properties and film properties. So you can go in and say, like, at the same time you're uploading uh your illustration or whatever it is to go up on wall art or a blanket or however you're doing it, you have the ability to say, okay, if they want to use this for advertising, if they want to use it for a TV show, if they want to do all these things, here's my rates.
Oh,
And they can do
that's
that.
kind of cool.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like a one fell swoop. I'm an artist, and here's all of the various things that I could do as an artist. So
Mhm.
I feel like you get the most bang for your buck,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
If you're
and that's a one-time fee. It's not every month you get charged arbitrary fees that keep
right,
changing, and there's
right.
no transparency. Yeah, I mean, that seems like a really fair, reasonable, very ethical way to do business with artists.
Yeah, 100%. So like I'm very much, if you're going to do print on demand, that's who I recommend.
That's
So
awesome. No, I love that. So we're getting into solutions, so that's good.
yeah,
So your most practical solution is, and I can second that, as far as a free member, I still have been impressed with, just it's easy to use and they are very transparent about how their business operates.
correct.
Uh, and so it's that, to me, means so much, because
Yeah,
they're not hiding behind, these closed doors and making decisions that then they're going to spring on you and go, hey, guess what? You're off the platform or whatever.
right. Exactly.
Um, so as far as practical solutions, I would say, if you either used to be on print on demand and you, like me, were like, oh my God, this is amazing, and you felt like the heyday experience effect, and then you saw exactly what everyone else did of, oh my God, I made $8 this month, or I made nothing this month, and and nothing changed. Like, you didn't delete any designs, you didn't change anything, nothing that you did changed. The thing that I have kind of migrated over to is Etsy. Now, Etsy is a lot of work. I advertise my Etsy store. It's a lot of, research and curating your stuff and, really working on your tags and updating your tags. But the reason I love Etsy so much is because I have way more control. So I can charge whatever I want for my products. I can change the price at any time. I can delete or add products. I can pick who my print on demand provider is, or I can ship my own products. I can, design my own shop. And Etsy has the eyeballs that they have native organic search to get discovered, even if you're not running ads, that is unrivaled in, like the industry of selling your art on products, as far as many tens of thousands, maybe millions of people go to Etsy and search for things. So, the chances, especially if you have something completely unique and you did your title and tags right, there's a good chance you're going to get found. And if you decide you don't want to do it or whatever, you have a lot more control over everything. So that's kind of why I don't really do much print on demand anymore. I mean, I still do a little here and there. And I still upload new stuff occasionally if I think it's the right fit, and I'm not taking my stuff down. But that's why I kind of went all in on Etsy, because I can curate my own shop. I can put my art on products however I want it. I can charge whatever I want. And I feel like a lot more in control. Etsy is way more of the typical marketplace, like a tool, and you are just building out everything yourself, versus the other print on demand sites where it's like, they have the products, you are kind of within their parameters of, where things are going to go and how they're laid out and all that stuff. So, and also I still like Spoonflower. My royalties on Spoonflower have also gone down from where they used to be. But I still like them as a company. I did work for them directly, for QuiltCon, and I don't think any of the people that I worked with are still there, but they were lovely people. They were a really nice company to do work for. As a freelancer. So I just was like, it's the same reason I pay. It's the same reason I pay for HBO streaming, because I've worked for HBO as an artist, as film crew. And man, if there's any company that's worth giving your money to as a streaming company, it's HBO. They not only have the best content, but they treat their employees fairly and they pay competitive rates. So yeah.
That's cool. That's good to know. Yeah. I consider it's my favorite streaming platform. That's good to know. For me, my advice is pay attention to the time you're spending versus what you're receiving. That is a cost benefit analysis. Do that for each of these platforms. And I mean all of the platforms, if that's Etsy, if that's drop shipping, if that's POD, but specifically for these POD platforms, and take your time into account. Not just how much time you're spending designing the pattern or creating the illustration, but how long. Start tracking. Take 1 week and track. It took me 15 minutes per design. How many designs? And then look at the sales of those designs over the year.
Right.
And then do the calculation. You made X number of dollars, and this is how much time it took you, and what are you actually making? And then decide, is that satisfactory? If the answer is yes, stay with it.
Yeah.
But then your next step is look at all of the designs that didn't make you any money.
Right. And how long did you spend on those? You have to factor those in. Yeah.
You have to add them all together. So you look at, this is how much I made, and this is how much I like in that cost benefit analysis. And then you have to look at it in the aggregate and decide. And if, frankly, what is your wage that you're willing to accept? Because if it comes in under the minimum wage, and in my state, that's $7.25. So you have to do we harp on this a lot. We devoted an entire episode to this, but you are a business owner when you are a self-employed artist. You are a business owner. And these are the decisions that you need to make when you look at where you're going to spend your time, your effort, and your energy.
Yeah.
That's my advice. So,
Nice.
all
And
right.
I will also add one more thing too. If you're frustrated, because I cannot tell you how frustrating it has been for me and disappointing to start at the beginning ish of a lot of these platforms and be like, woohoo, I'm riding this wave, and then have it crash and, get washed up on the shore and be like, oh my God, this sucks. Now I'm, that's the end. If you're feeling like that, it's okay to leave, it's okay to take your stuff down. Because, it's okay. Maybe you might lose some future sales or whatever, but it's totally okay to leave, because thousands and thousands of artists are leaving in droves, leaving these platforms. A lot of it based on just integrity and ethics, as far as because they see the amount of AI that's on there, and they just don't want to be associated with a company that is not only accepting AI, but some of them are encouraging it and rewarding people who upload, basically, let's just call it what it is, stolen art that's not copyrightable, that was generated from other people's, publicly posted art. If you don't want to be associated with that, if that gives you an icky feeling, it's okay to leave. Go do something else and put your art somewhere that's meaningful. Because if you don't make any money somewhere else, but at least, it has some integrity, or you're proud of it, that's better than making a few bucks.
Agreed. 100%. Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Nice.
I think that's a wrap. If you're loving this podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And while you're at it, we'd love it if you could rate and review us. Your support helps more people discover the show, and it keeps us going strong. Thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. I'm Toni.
And I'm Carrie. It's okay to be cranky.
In the meantime, keep creating.
Two Cranky Creatives is produced by me, Toni Federico, and my co-host, Carrie Cantwell. Carrie handles sound editing, I wrangle marketing and communications, and together we keep this cranky train on the tracks. Thanks for listening.